recently I came up with a brand, a skincare brand called Ingu, I-N-G-U.
So how do you manage all of this? You're a YouTuber, TikToker, you have a business, and I think you're younger than me.
Yesterday we launched a new brand called Ingu. We sold out within the first couple of hours.
Wow. Do you think the upside to being a businessman is way higher than just creator only?
You can only become an influencer for so long. Eventually it will have to turn into something else that can make you more money and give you a life that won't cause you to go insane.
สวัสดีครับทุกคน
สวัสดีค่ะ
I'm your FC.
Oh, I'm yours as well. Thank you so much for having me.
So I ใช้ภาษาอังกฤษนะเพราะว่า I อยากฝรั่งดูคลิปนี้ด้วยนะ
Oh, okay.
แล้วก็ทุกคนรู้เองเป็นใครครับ
Oh my god, your Thai is really good actually. Yeah.
Shall we เปลี่ยนใช้ภาษาไทยไหม
ได้ใช้ภาษาไทยได้เลยครับ No, you're good. You can do English today.
Okay, yeah, because I think, especially on like social media, we don't really see like young entrepreneurs in Thailand. So I also want like a lot of foreigners to see like how businesses operate in this space.
Yeah, that's nice.
If people don't know who you are, could you introduce a bit about yourself?
Yes, so my name is Ing. Some of you might have seen me from my YouTube channel. I review skincare from like a science perspective. But recently I came up with a brand, a skincare brand called Ingu, I-N-G-U.
So how do you manage all of this? You're a YouTuber, TikToker, you have a business, and I think you're younger than me.
Well, you're about to see, it's not all glamorous, everyone. It's a lot of putting out fires and running everywhere.
How long was it when you first started this business?
We just celebrated our 3rd anniversary, so we're still pretty young. But YouTube I've been doing for about 5 years now.
When you first started YouTube, did you always think about creating your own brand?
I come from a business background, so I actually graduated with a business degree. So it was always in my goal to have a business. But this YouTube thing actually came up randomly because it was during COVID and I wanted to sit down and use my knowledge to review skincare, and then suddenly just took off.
Wow.
So it was kind of like an accident. But the YouTube thing sort of led to the brand because I wanted to create my own brand because from my business background.
So you never planned to be like a YouTuber, it just happened?
No, yeah, that just happened out of nowhere. Out of boredom really during COVID.
Okay, so you said you came from like a business background and then you started YouTube by accident. How did you end up like here? Because I'm looking at this office and I'm like, wow, this is incredible.
Thank you. I don't know. We just keep solving problems day by day, and then our brand actually grew really quickly. Within 3 years, our headcount is at about 65 at the moment. We started with 3 employees. I think it's because a lot of people who watch my channel, they really trust what I say. A lot of them actually requested this brand. Yeah, so we have to thank a lot of our customers for being very loyal.
Okay, do you think personal brand really helps like grow your business?
Yeah, so I think I owe everything to personal branding. Even though it started by an accident, I think eventually if you create an audience that really understands your message, especially YouTube, I think is a platform that people have to make the conscious decision to click onto your videos. It doesn't just feed or come up on your feed organically like on TikTok. So it's a platform that you can get a lot of super fans and a lot of people who really engage or want to watch your content.
So do you think without like your personal brand, it wouldn't be as successful as today?
I think it might be successful, but it might have taken a lot more time to get here. With the personal branding, it's really easy to speak directly to the consumers. So that's something that is an advantage that we have over larger brands. Because consumers these days, I think, can relate to what I'm saying because they want to hear actual people talking to them. It's easier to tell your story, tell your product benefits, and touch people's hearts and emotions easier than say like a really expensive ad campaign.
Interesting. So you think you have like more of an upper edge compared to like the big conglomerates?
I think we're more agile in the way that we can communicate to people. We don't need like expensive marketing campaigns, expensive TV ads, or traditional marketing. I think we can bypass all of that by just speaking directly to our consumers.
Right. And that builds more trust with your customers, right?
Yeah, but it's also a double-edged sword because having a personal brand, there are people who like what you say, and of course there are people who disagree with what you say. So that's the hard part about putting yourself out there.
Right, because I think there's a lot of people watching this. Maybe they're in Thailand or in other countries, and they also want to start their own business, and they might be thinking, wow, I feel nervous to put myself like on social media, but they also want to have something like you have. Like what advice would you give to them?
I wasn't always like someone who was confident in front of the camera. It took me a lot of time. I think having a very clear concept of what you want to stand for and what you want to say is important to begin with. For example, my channel, I started off reviewing skincare from like a scientific perspective, using my knowledge with my family's business. They've been running a skincare factory for 3 generations now. And so I think that story was compelling enough. And it was something that the content market was lacking. Before there were only like doctors who talked very scientifically, and at the other end you had like influencers who were more like beauty bloggers. So there was this space in between the two groups that I think I served at the right moment. So that clear messaging in the beginning really propelled the content. Yeah, that would be my advice for anyone starting out in personal branding, is to have something you stand for and be unique enough to serve something that's still missing in the market.
Okay. If they don't want to be on social media, do you think it's hard to grow a business in 2025?
I don't know because I started off with my personal branding, but I can say for sure that it might take more money and more time. But of course it's possible to come up with a successful business without personal branding.
Yeah, because I recently interviewed CK Fastwork.
Oh, right.
He said having a personal brand is like so important now for any business. It's kind of like playing a lottery, right? Like every time you could play for free, but say one video goes viral, that could change your whole business.
That is true. That is very true. It doesn't cost you anything. Okay, maybe a good camera could work, but see, we're filming this on an iPhone with no microphone.
The mic is here. I'm like, should we use the mic? Is it loud? I'm like, okay.
It just goes to show that anyone can create a personal branding. My first clip, I used my iPad, the front camera of the iPad. I just plopped it on the floor and then just filmed my first video, and that video went viral straight away. And so it really takes nothing. It takes courage and it takes practice to be comfortable in front of a camera, but as CK said, that one clip could change everything.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting what you said about how you can be more agile compared to like big conglomerates, because you can kind of just be yourself, right? Your personal brand is exactly who you are. Like when you have the umbrella and you're making skits, when I saw you, I was like, oh, it's actually true.
It's true, guys. I go everywhere with my umbrella.
and I've started making content on YouTube, and people are like, yeah, you don't have the high production and like all the effects, but they appreciate the authenticity, Nowadays, people don't want to see like perfect stuff. They just want to see real.
It's true. I think people appreciate what we call ugly content nowadays. Something that's too high production, you spent too much, you thought too much about it, can really backfire sometimes, both like monetarily and also in terms of viewer retention. People just want people to talk to them, like real human beings.
I feel like if you're too perfect, it's really hard to relate, right? So I think, well, for me anyway, I just want to be relatable every time I make a video.
But you are. I watch your content and everything's just so real. You just pick up your camera and you say what you want to say. But one thing that I really think you do really well is your concept is very sharp. Like you're a foreigner who wants to experience Thai culture, and you want to bring people along with you. So I think starting off with that very sharp thesis or what you stand for can really translate easily into your everyday content.
Okay. So say for example someone who is 50 up, 40 up, do you think they can still make content?
Oh, absolutely. I think some of my favorite creators these days are people who aren't digital natives, because it's so cute watching them, struggle sometimes, but they also bring a different perspective. And some of my favorite content these days is older people giving younger people wisdom of how they've been through all of this, life lessons from people in their 50s or 60s. I think younger people can really learn a lot from them as well.
Okay. Well, if there's an older demographic watching this and they want to start, do you have any advice for them?
One thing older people are really good at is being unhinged because emotions and public opinion don't affect them as much, I would say, for a lot of people, because they've been through a lot. They're very wise. So use that to your advantage. Just say what you want to say and frame it in a way that is beneficial for the younger generation, because we crave that from the older generation.
Okay. So I also want to say we've been filming for 20 minutes, but I can see how real and authentic you are, which is I think why you're so successful too.
Oh,
because usually business people, they're very reserved, and maybe they keep their personality very
I can see the pros and cons of both types of management or personality styles, though, because being very open is good good with your viewers. It's good in building team morale, but it also creates like a blurred line between, because you also need to be someone who can manage a lot of people, and sometimes that takes a type of personality that can really command or can really delegate. Yeah.
Do you have like a switch then? Like maybe you're like the fun guy and then sometimes you're like the serious?
Oh yes, because I actually manage the company with my brother, and he's the serious, like he's the bad cop. So I can just swoop in with like, oh, you know, it's okay. But like I'm better with that, but he's much more like reserved and the traditional type of manager.
Interesting. Do you think it's good to have both then? If you're too fun, maybe people don't take you as serious as...
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to have a good balance. You know, if you know that you're someone who's like very open and very friendly with everyone, it's also important to have that one person in your life to help like
I'm missing
really
that
just like manage people.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that I lack, and I know that I need to like improve on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a time where you're like too nice and you're like, oh, this is kind of like backfired on me?
Yeah, every day.
Every day.
Don't let my employees hear this, but like yeah, sometimes I feel like having that boundary is definitely important.
Yeah, because I don't have a big team. I just have like one editor, and then for the books I have like freelance team. My approach is I always want to be like their friend rather than the boss. I feel like I'm a game day.
I am the same way, and at first it was fine, like when we had like 10 employees, but now that we're up to like almost 70, definitely it's a skill that I have to practice as well.
Could we have a sit somewhere? My arm is aching.
Oh yeah, sure.
They are doing the light now. Look at this. Alright, so I feel more comfortable now. My arms are resting. I was like holding, I was like, I already went to the gym today. I'm like doing 100 sets of
oh yeah, no, it might look light, but actually if you hold it for long enough.
Yeah, love that Kang Lang right now. Okay, so a lot of people are really inspired by like what you've said so far, and also I think I want to know for myself actually, like how did you manage to do all of this? Like you have 60 employees, you have your personal brand, I'm sure you're doing like other businesses too, and you have free time to like travel and live your life, and you seem very happy. Like, let's hear the secrets.
There's no secret really. I think what or how I appear to the world sometimes might be this like glamorous life where I go on trips abroad. I still have time to manage people and have a balanced life, but in actuality it's also a struggle every day as well, and I'm still learning how to set boundaries for myself, for my team, my personal life, my family, and all that. I think you have to admit first to yourself that if you want to become very successful, there's no way that you will ever have all your weekends. It's natural, at least for me, to work 7 days straight just to be able to get all the work done. So I'm not the best person to give advice on work-life balance, actually.
Do you think it comes from like a lot of passion, or do you think it's fueled from like something else like money or?
I think for me, passion is a very important guiding or North Star since day one for my YouTube channel and with this brand as well. But lately, it's not just passion, but it's also responsibility for the team members. I used to work in corporate, and so I understand the importance of a good career path. And so when I set out to become a manager or an owner of a business, I really stress the importance of having a good career path for all of my employees. You know, I want them to grow with the company. I want them to be able to hone new skills alongside me and become leaders in their own right.
Okay, and like for the people watching that do want to foster like a good team or start like a business or have people work for them, like how did you manage to learn all like these skills and structure your business to be where you are right now?
Trial and error mostly, but I'm very lucky in that my family's also been doing business for a while. Both of my parents, my grandparents, they're all entrepreneurs. So I think a lot of my decisions are influenced, or at least I've gotten good advice from people around me and my support system. But yeah, most of the time it's just learning as you go. You know, I'm not perfect by any means. I still make mistakes every day. The culture that I'm trying to build is very
idealistic.
Yes, it's very idealistic, but it's good to be idealistic, I think, but getting there is not as easy or not as glamorous for sure.
And you've mentioned that your family comes from like a business background, right? But maybe some people watching this right now and they want to start the business, but they're like, hey, maybe I don't have like the family to support me, or maybe they don't have any money right now. Do you still feel like they have a chance of like succeeding if they have a business in mind? And is there any advice you would give to them?
For my personal story, I started off with my YouTube channel. That cost nothing. You know, I just put myself out there and just learned as I went on. It's a combination of many things. I think one is knowing what you're good at and honing in on it. The other is knowing the market. I mentioned earlier that even approaching content, I viewed it as the content market. What was that market lacking at the time?
I think you just need to pick what you're really good at and then just go with it.
The longer I stay in Thailand, I feel like there's so much opportunity here, especially with like TikTok shop and like online shopping. I feel like the consumer spending is like crazy here. If you,
I know.
I always analyze like TikTok shops. I'm like, wow, like, tens of thousands of sales.
Exactly.
And
oh my god.
All they're doing is one iPhone, no mic, one of these lights which you can get on Lazada, not the expensive one. Like if you're watching this and you do want to start a business, I'll just say like just start. I think maybe don't kit yet. Nah, just like if you really want to do something, I just do it.
Because he just started his content journey as well, only last year, because I was like pushing him to do more
he was
content.
like, do something.
But now he's a natural in front of the camera, right?
Well, not really.
How did it make you feel when you first started?
It's really hard. It's so
Maybe
much
you could come
harder.
here.
The thing is, this is what I believe in. So sometimes you don't start with something that you do very well. Before I met him, I was making videos by myself. I was writing the script, editing it myself, and doing everything myself. And then no one saw those videos. Okay, and I hope no one ever does. But when I met him after that, it kind of gave me the skills to be able to make the video, and then it really took off very, very well. So the thing is, sometimes when you fail, it still propels you somewhere. When you make something that, oh, this is a terrible video, no one should see this, and then
at least in the ones that no one has watched, at least you're honing in or you're practicing your skill. It was like you were building this foundation that you didn't realize was a foundation until one day the right opportunity at the right timing came for you, and then that gave you the opportunity to be able to run.
I think that's part of life, of just like learning to do different things until eventually somehow it all clicks.
So your content is about hair care, and does it support the business that you do right now?
Yes and no. So I have a hair transplant clinic. Hair transplant is not a very interesting topic, and it's not something that can go very viral or mass. But if you kind of boil it down, it's about hair care. So like you know, which shampoos should you use if you're experiencing hair loss? It's easier for people to kind of communicate and then learn from you in that way, and then maybe some of them will, okay, you know what, I have a big problem, I might need a hair transplant, and then they might consider doing
But
something.
with that being said, I think with his content, it's also given him and us more opportunities in the future to possibly expand into hair care or like even like the hair spa industry. So I think those wouldn't have come up without this newfound personal brand.
Okay. Say for example, a businessman is watching this video and they may be skeptical about content. Would you advise them to do it, or would you say think about it?
I would say there's very little risk to start doing content, so might as well give it a try. Yesterday we launched a new brand called Ing and Ingu. It's my first supplement brand, and we sold out within the first couple of hours.
Wow.
And we had forecasted for this lot to be sold for at least 1 month, and we sold out within a couple of hours. Yeah.
How many units was there?
We sold 5,000 units yesterday alone, so we have more coming in today. 5,000
And you
more.
just launched this
Yesterday.
At 12 p.m.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, I think if we had gone the traditional route, if we had went out and found a distributor or like a retail store versus like this model where we built this personal branding, we built the brand online leading up to the launch yesterday. The two directions are completely different in terms of the payoff and also in terms of investment. I think having that online footprint really helped us.
Did you spend a lot of money like launching this then with your personal brand?
Not at all. I think it was just the content team churning out like Instagram posts and TikTok posts. And then it was me doing the TikTok live yesterday. I was on live for 3 hours straight. I sold like 800 within that live alone.
So TikTok Live, what else did you use? Instagram?
We use TikTok Live and Shopee Live as well. On Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, we posted our launch videos. So it was like a group effort yesterday.
Okay, I also want to talk about, because you were initially an influencer creator before, and then you switched to businessman creator.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you think the upside to being a businessman is way higher than just creator only?
Oh, that's a very good question. Because since day one of my YouTube channel, I already had in my mind like some sort of exit strategy. Because being a YouTuber, you realize that you can only become an influencer for so long. Eventually, it will have to turn into something else that can make you more money and give you a life that won't cause you to go insane. It's true. So an advice for anyone becoming an influencer, I think always have that in mind as well. You know, how are you going to turn this? No, but how are you going to turn this into something that can still give value to your viewers, but also can be like a next step for you in your life, in your business, in your goals as well.
Okay. So, Ing, what advice have you got for me?
You're doing great, actually. I might need advice from you.
What's your exit strategy?
Well, I've
Oh, he
already...
has a book now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the exit
Okay,
strategy.
Yes.
so I have a digital offer. I have like 3 books right now. I have like learning to speak Thai, which I did with my school.
Oh, nice.
So they kind of like created the course, and then I had like my team design the book and like make it like foreigner friendly, and then we have like the video course with the school, and I think it's just like a beginner way for like foreigners to learn Thai without going to class. Like you can just do it all online. And then I have one which is moving to Thailand as an expat, because they don't know what visas to go on, like the bank accounts.
Yeah.
And
That's actually a very good insight, because a lot of times these ideas for like how you're going to spin off your content into a business comes from your own viewers requesting things. People who have a personal brand are very lucky in that they don't have to spend millions on purchasing data. Because that's what a lot of larger brands do. They have to go to these like companies that gather data and then spend millions and millions per year to get the consumer insights. But as a content creator that has a personal branding, you're with the people every single day, 24/7. You have all this data in your hand. That's how I develop my products as well, from actual consumer pain points that I have to deal with on a daily basis. So a lot of my product development just comes from my gut feeling, from being with the people all the time.
okay, I think we filmed for a really long time, but we actually haven't seen your product.
Oh,
I think this whole video we haven't shown what this company is about, right? Well, here's the goods.
so this is our new brand that we just launched yesterday. It's a supplement.
Is
Yeah.
it vitamins?
Yeah, I'm really proud of how the packaging turned out this time. This is a astaxanthin supplement for anti-aging. So if you have a very stressful lifestyle, you're on the back of a motorbike on a daily basis, or you are exposed to a lot of pollution or sunlight, or you have a very stressful lifestyle. So content creators, business owners, people who are wanting to start a business, we need a lot of antioxidants in order to protect our body from aging. So this is a good option if you're in the market for that.
You're paying that?
It looks expensive, but it's actually not.
Okay, what's the price?
It's
of this?
$890
And
per
for how
bottle
many
for 30 tablets.
Okay.
So you take one a day, so this will last you 1 month.
Okay.
I'm very, very proud of my sourcing team for this
So
project.
how long would like a product like this take to make, from start to finish?
For a supplement, I think a realistic lead time would be about 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to make something meaningful. Because nowadays it's very easy to launch a skincare or a supplement. You just walk straight to the OEM factory and then tell them you want a sunscreen or you want like a supplement that has certain benefits. But if you really want to study and look at the ingredients yourself, then it will take 1 or 2 years. So I actually went to study to get like a certification in supplements in order to develop this formula.
Okay.
These are yours, by the way.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I'm not sure if it's in the frame or not.
I have no idea. So this is the current product lineup.
I really like the design.
Thank you. So this is our brightening serum.
It looks like coffee.
Yeah,
Yes.
it has coffee extract in
It has
there.
coffee, yeah.
Oh.
So we support a lot of local farmers and local institutions in researching local ingredients. So for this one, we use coffee from Chiang Rai
Right.
that helps with like antioxidation. For this, we have like green tea. This one is from Chiang Rai as well, that we partnered with a university in the north to extract green tea and then put it into skincare.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have a question. You put a lot of research into this, and you know you have the certificates and everything. But I also see like a lot of brands on TikTok. They sell like vitamins and like skincare. I think it's one of the biggest industries in Thailand, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And there's just new ones coming out like each month.
Yeah.
How do consumers know which one to look for?
So the beauty, the supplement space is definitely a very red ocean. It's very competitive. You know, if a consumer has a certain problem, they're guaranteed to be able to find a solution that's already in the market. So I think to differentiate yourself in this economy, you really have to work on your personal branding and also have a clear core value that is a message that is intangible but can really speak to the consumers. So for example, we use Thai extracts. That's also a story that I tell a lot because it's something that supports the local economy and gives a new value to the consumers that other brands aren't serving at the moment. At the end of the day, it's just about showing people your journey and like what you've learned along the way, your mistakes, what you've done well. People just want to hear stories at the end of the day.
What is the like future for you now? Because I mean, you've already got a successful brand. I think you've got like everything.
My
Exit from this
exit
brand.
strategy.
Stay in the
Retirement,
islands.
please. I'm so tired.
He's really tired.
Yeah, I think, well, my next goal is to push tea beauty to make it become global.
Okay.
So if you look at the cosmetics industry in Thailand at the moment, the only sector that has gone international is spa products. So like Han and Bamburi and all of those spa segments, because they've really done their homework on how to build a good brand without trying to compete on price. Because at the end of the day, if you guys compete on price, then it's just gonna lower the quality of the products. It's like a race to the bottom. But that's what's been happening all these years in skincare and in supplements and in cosmetics in Thailand. So what I want to do is really uplift the industry, whether it's my competitors or myself. We want to make better products. We want to promote it to the world that Thai people can also make really interesting, good, innovative products in skincare as well. So if you've noticed, a lot of my content in the past month have been all in English. And I've gotten so many expats and also international viewers from like all over, like US, Europe, Latin America, and ASEAN countries as well. So there is an appetite, I think, for Thai products, but it's just how are we gonna shout it out more and get these things out to the world.
And most of my audience are Thai, so have you got a message for them?
In Thai, or should I? I'll do it in English. I think a message to all the Thais watching is to support local products, because if you look at like Japan, exactly, or Korea, Europe, like every nation that is able to create meaningful products that the world loves. If you look at their domestic market, their consumers also love local brands. So everything starts from local demand. So a message to all the Thais watching, support local producers, please.
Thank you so much for today, and I feel like I've learned so much.
Thank
and
you.
I need to go back to the drawing board too. I think about myself. Yeah.
Yeah, you can shoot us a Zoom meeting. We'll help you workshop your next chapter.
Where's the hole in the market?
Which hole should I attack? No, but I think this is like really inspiring for not just Thai people, but people from all around the world to see like
Thank you.
such a young person to do something so like amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It really means
You're
a
like
lot.
I'm your FC.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
I'm
you.
like,
I'm yours as
how
well.
to do so much, you know? But yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
hope this was useful to anyone watching.
Okay, see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.